after side, let's start with one philosophy. Although I'm not the philosopher, so I will just read about it. Monitoring is one of the fundamental aspect of the popular build, measure, learn philosophy. I read it somewhere, so I just thought of sharing it. Although none of us are philosophers, so we'll quickly move it to the engineering side. So yeah, why exactly we do need a monitoring, and why exactly we need the monitoring of the infrastructure? So in the simple word, monitoring is all about act of collecting and analyzing data, so that like we can analyze the performance, health, and the availability of our resources. And with the monitoring we can make sense like what all devices are making our infrastructure, and we can keep an eye on all those devices in terms of availability, their performance, and how they are doing it. And in case of any failure we can report it, or like we can use the reporting features for doing the inventory. Because like nowadays you talk to any person in the hierarchy, they'll talk about the digital transformation. Digital transformation is all about like moving your devices infrastructure to the next level, so that they can utilize all kind of modern infrastructure. And when the company invests a lot in the digital transformation, they also expect that they should keep their like their business should be up and running, and they should get more from the business. So however, if we have a small kind of disruption, any kind of failure on the devices which makes up our digital transformation, then it's going to impact a lot to the company. So for example, let's take an example of like in this COVID situation, some of the partners, shopping partners like Amazon, Big Basket, they are providing a service. And if something happens in to their devices which is running entire system, then it's going to impact them a lot, and it will definitely bring a bad name. So it is quite essential we know about the devices which makes up our infrastructure, because application at the end runs on the infrastructure. So we have to keep uh, our application up and running, and we have to keep our infrastructure healthy so that it can properly host the applications. But the question is, do we only need the monitoring uh, in this situation when everyone is moving toward the DevOps? Everyone talks about a certain other kind of technologies. The monitoring is not sufficient. Everyone wants people want that resiliency in the infrastructure. If something goes down, then the system should be able to fix it automatically without any intervention. And even if it is not able to fix, then it should send out the notifications. Also, people want the assessment of their infrastructure to predict the failures and the outages, keep their infrastructure up and running. And yeah, uh, they also want the manageability in the infrastructure. So in a simple word, like when something goes wrong, the system should have power to automatically fix it and alert it somebody if it can't fix it. Or even like you can raise an incident in the service desk and assign it to a proper queue. So yeah, the monitoring is not sufficient. People want manageability, resiliency, and a lot of things along with the monitoring. So I'm going to talk about the how Azure Monitor can help us in doing the monitoring and the manageability. So a quick introduction about the Azure Monitor. So like other monitoring tool, it also provide the full observability in your infrastructure. It can act as a full stack monitoring solution that can do the monitoring of your entire applications. It can do the monitoring of your infrastructure, network, and other things which are making our entire system. It has a very easy mechanism of collecting the telemetry data from the resources, be a resource hosted on the Azure, or the machines running in any data center, or any kind of cloud. It is very flexible. I mean, it can easily connect it with your existing DevOps process. You can make use of the ITSM, or you can make use of the SIEM and other kind of connector. Uh, yeah. So quickly, I'll walk you through how easy it is to set up the uh, Azure Monitor workspace. It's just that you have to be a small bit familiar with the Azure portal, and then it is very easy to set up the workspace. So I'll pull up the Azure portal. I'll show you how easy it is to do the setup of the Azure Monitor workspace. Because if you compare I mean, if you think of any other on-premises monitoring tool like the System Center Operations Manager, it's a bulky tool. It needs a lot of infrastructure to host the things, and it needs a proper team who manages the System Center Operations Manager. So it's like, to do the monitoring, we need a team which do the monitoring of the system, which does the monitoring. But that's not the case with the Azure Monitor, because it's hosted in the Azure. So everything is taken care by the cloud provider. So Microsoft take cares of everything. So yeah, I'll show you how easy it is to set up the workspace. You just have to click on the click resources and say log analytics workspace, and then click on create. Just do the naming convention, select the subscription. So and select the resources where you want to do. So I will just name it something like monitoring uh, and uh, observe, and I'll just select a data center. So data center, I mean, it's a location of the data center where our data will be hosted. Now we have plenty of locations. You can, I mean, if you have any restrictions in your country about like we cannot move our data outside of the country, then you can select that one. Otherwise, I prefer using the East US. It has like a lot of advanced features. Anything that comes new in the Azure Monitor, first it goes to the East US. Yeah, and just select the pricing tier. It just have one pricing tier, so it totally depend. I mean, whatever the data you collect, you just have to pay for it, nothing else. No licensing, nothing else is needed. It's just that you have to pay whatever the data is coming to your workspace, and then simply do a create, and your workspace will be ready in just 1 or 2 minutes. So yeah, let's move to the another slide. Um, so yeah, I mean, it is quite easy to set up the log analytics workspace. You just have to fill up some form, and once it is done, you can start collecting the data from uh, the resources, Azure resources, or the machines or the things which are hosted even in the third-party cloud, or even it's running on the AWS or anywhere. So, uh, okay, I'll show you how you can collect the telemetry from the device, from the resources which are running inside the Azure. So yeah, this is our workspace that got ready within like 1 or 2 minutes. So I will just jump to the another workspace, because that workspace has a lot of pre-built thing which I did it for this session. So this is the workspace, and it's collecting the data from many of the Azure resources. It has very good dashboards which can help you in keeping an eye on your infrastructure. I mean, you can do the things from the infrastructure side. For example, I'm assessing it how my anti-malware looks like, or from the code, from the application point of view. This is the Azure SQL. It'll give you a view around it, how my databases are performing, how other things are performing. uh, then we have something called from the update side, how my machines are doing in terms of the updates, and how they are they up to date, or is there any kind of vulnerability detected. So yeah, you can do it from this side as well. So let this load. So it'll tell you like number of updates, or these are the three machines are up to date, two machine needs other kind of update, and one machine needs a security update. You can further drill down what exactly is needed. It's just that you have to run certain kind of a query to find out the machine. But yeah, you can apply the filtering and lot of things on it, and it'll help you in uh, identifying the machines which are not updated, or any kind of thing. So yeah, let me show you how you can collect the data from other kind of resources. So what you have to do is you just have to go inside the resource group, and I'll just select one resource group, and it has a option called diagnostic. So all the resources which are inside the Azure environment has tendency to send out their telemetry to the log analytics workspace. They can send out their diagnostic data, which And also, like, we can do the live metric analysis. We can do the real-time monitoring with the metric data. So I'll show you how we can send out the metric data. So these are the resources which are part of my uh, resource group. This particular resource group has these many resources. So some of the resources, for example, the SQL database already have the diagnostic enable. I'll do it on some other thing called okay, let's do it for the network security group. So you just have to click on add diagnostic, just name it something like tele- telemetry telemetry, uh, and this will send out these kind of logs to the log analytics. We will just select the workspace where we want these all data. So okay, for now I will just send out to this monitoring and observability which we just created it. Okay, so once you click on save, your particular resource will start sending out the data to the workspace, and then you can use that uh, data, that telemetry data, for doing the analytics, or doing the predictions, or you can even do the alerting. So there are plenty there are plenty of resources. I mean, almost all of the Azure resources which can send out their telemetry. So here I'm just seeing the resources which is inside this one. But yeah, let me pick up one another resource group. It has a lot of things. So, for example, if you have created the Logic app, or you created the Azure Automation account, or you have the Event Hub, that also send out the diagnostic data to the workspace. You just have to do the same process, select the type of logs that you want to send out, and you can send out the metrics as well, and just do the naming telemetry. And yeah, here just select the workspace where you want to send out the data, and it's done. So once your resources start sending out the data, you can analyze that data over the dashboards. So uh, it has wonderful dashboards. Even you can export the third party dashboards as well. So let me show you the dashboards where our data will be appear, and we can use this data for doing the analysis, or uh, doing any other stuff. So here you can find out the availability. I mean, how many devices are available, or other things. Performance monitoring, you can do it. There are something called wire data, which is related to your network analysis. So wire data can help you in analyzing how your network is flowing, how things are going over the network. I mean, there are something called network performance management that will also do the analysis of your networks, how the data is flowing from one subnet to another subnet. So many things. So that was about, I mean, how the resources can send out the Azure resources can send out the data to the log analytics workspace. Even about the hybrid infrastructure. So as I said, like talked about the digital transformation. So it's a kind of a buzzword, and digital transformation is also cannot be completed without making use of the hybrid IT, because people want to utilize the advantage of the cloud as well as the on-premises, or even they want to use the multiple cloud. But if you are using the multiple thing, then you need uh, one single workspace where you can have, or one single solution which can do the monitoring of all the things which are making up your system. So uh, in this you can do the monitoring of machines running in any kind of cloud, even the machines running on the on premises, or having the any kind of operating system like Windows, Linux, Unix. Even you can do the monitoring of the containers, Kubernetes, and you can have the metric data from the applications. So I'll show you, I mean, how you can do the monitoring of the servers which are running on the on premises or running on the any other cloud. So for doing the monitoring of the machine which is outside the Azure, what you have to do is you just have to deploy the agent on it. So the agent, the options for deploying the agents are there in the advanced settings. So these are the agents. So you, like for example, if you are using the Windows machine, then you can just download this agent and make use of these particular keys, and then your agent will start sending out the data. In the same way, it has an option of doing it for the Linux machines also, or you can integrate it with your entire system center operations manager. I mean, if you are using the SCOM and you want to integrate it with it, you can do that also. So uh, what you have to do is just download this agent. So you just have to download that agent, and once you install, it will appear like this one, Microsoft Monitoring and Microsoft Monitoring Agent, and you can see the configuration where exactly this is sending out the data. So this is sending out the data to this particular workspace, uh, and then you can check the health of this machine, how this machine looks like, and how other things look like. So yeah, that was about how you can do the monitoring of your on-premises system. Uh, if you have the Azure machines with you, if the Azure machines, if you have the access over the multiple subscription, then you can enable the diagnostic settings over the machine. So you just have to go to the virtual machines option and then simply click on this way. It's already connected, so we are not getting this option connect. But I mean, if the machine is not connected, you can simply click on the connect, and then that machine will start sending out the data. So these many machines are sending out the data. I'm having some trouble with Linux, so if you have any trouble with machines sending out the data, then you can you'll see these kind of errors as well. It's just that when you click on the connect, it will deploy a small extension on the machine, and then with the help of that extension, the machines will start sending out the telemetry data to the workspace. So this is how you can do the monitoring of your hybrid infrastructure. So that uh, that was all about the core monitoring, but there are many other things which you want to monitor. So we have a solution which can help you in doing the extensive monitoring of a particular component. For example, if you have a SQL server running on your in your infrastructure, and you want their analysis, you want their assessment, then what you have to do is you can enable the solution pack for it. So there are plenty of solutions available. So I'll again take you to the dashboards where you can see the solution. So I'm just making use of these many solutions, but there are plenty of solutions which are available. So you just have to click on add, and then you can have the solutions. I mean, you can enable the solution from here. You have SQL health check. If your company is making use of the Surface Hub for doing the demo or for doing the presentations, you can do the monitoring of them as well. The security and the audit, network performance management, like plenty of solution. And I mean, it's not mandatory that you do the solutioning from here. If you have the custom solution, you can make use of it make use of it as well. And as I said, like, this provide monitoring of the container. So this is the solution which can help you in doing the monitoring of the container. uh,
Hey Keshav, I think we have 5, 6 more minutes. Is that fine?
yeah, sure.
Cool.
So yeah, so yeah, uh, so In the start of the at the start of the session, I told about like building up the resiliency. So there is a component in the Azure that's called Azure Automation that provides the orchestration. So it has a runbook which can run the PowerShell code or a Python code uh, for doing the infrastructure side automation. So you just have to link it with your automation. So I'll just give you one example how we can auto correct the issues. So for example, you have a resource which is sending out the data to the log analytics. uh, so the resources is sending out the data. That data either can be displayed over the dashboards or over the consoles, or you can export that data. If you want the automation in your infrastructure, you can make use of the alerting can send out the notification. You can send out that notification to the service now, or any kind of ITSM tool, or you can run the automation. So for example, if my alert has identified any problem, it will trigger the automation can be of Azure automation or the logic apps or the Azure function, and then it will run the automation, and it will bring back resource to the normal state. So yeah, there are quite of from the manageability point of view, you can do the deployment of the updates. I mean, it's very easy to manage the update deployment. You can do the change tracking as well as the inventory management. So yeah, uh, so um, quick summary about whatever I spoke. With the Azure Monitor, once it is integrated with the automation, you can build up the resiliency in the infrastructure. You will have the dashboards to analyze the health of your infrastructure. You can do the quick deployment. You can do the scaling of the machines, many more things. So yeah, that's all about the, I mean, how Azure Monitor and the Azure Automation can uh, do the monitoring of your infrastructure. So yeah, uh, thanks.